I'm Jenny Carlson here with Ryan Aber. We're in Norman, where Oklahoma has defeated West Virginia 70-68. Ryan, it was every bit as good a game as we thought this game could be. West Virginia knocking off Kansas earlier this week in Morgantown, so we knew what a capable squad Bob Huggins brought to Norman. But the Sooners just outlasting West Virginia is really the best way to put it. Kadeem Latin with a tip in there at the buzzer. Break down that last play for us.
Well, they tried to get Jordan Woodard running toward the basket at the end. Really, as much wanted him to score as to get a chance for Kadeem Latin and Ryan Spangler to get a tip in right at the buzzer. Kadeem Latin's man broke over on Jordan Woodard as the second guy. Ryan Spangler sort of bumped his guy a little bit out of the way, giving Kadeem Latin a little bit more space. And Latin, who missed a free throw in the last 3 seconds of a big game in Kansas a couple weeks ago, comes up huge with the tip in, and the Sooners win and likely move to #1 on Monday ahead of Monday night's game in Ames with Iowa State.
Yeah, a lot of those top 5 teams losing this week, not just Kansas, so we expect Oklahoma to assume that top spot. But you mentioned Kadeem Latin. He played sparingly in the first half, foul trouble, but came up big in the end. And Ryan, West Virginia really wants to get you in foul trouble, wants to get you in foul trouble, wants to out-rebound you, wants to get you up-tempo, turning it over. Even though the Sooners had, I believe, 18 turnovers, that's still not bad against West Virginia, which is crazy to say, but they really did an okay job against the pressure.
Yeah, absolutely, because they turned the ball over 39 times their previous 2 games against Oklahoma State and Kansas State, 2 teams that don't play the kind of defense that West Virginia does. So certainly that 18 turnovers stood out a little bit, but they'll take that any day, especially given you said rebounding, you said foul trouble. Well, that's what West Virginia found themselves in. They had a rebounding deficit. They'd been so good, especially Jonathan Holton had been one of the best offensive rebounders in the country. He only gets 2 rebounds today, and the last one was Kadeem Latin going over Holton for the tip-in. And so Oklahoma was fantastic on the boards. Ryan Spangler, 14 rebounds, just a fantastic day for him. And they got West Virginia in a lot of foul trouble early. Devin Williams was limited to 15 minutes for this team. He's their leading scorer, had a season-low 5 points. So overall, phenomenal job for the Sooners, even though it certainly wasn't nearly as pretty a basketball as we saw up in Lawrence a couple weeks ago when we had a 1-2 matchup.
Yeah, some numbers to throw at you. Oklahoma winning the rebounding battle 39-37. Which isn't a huge win, but against West Virginia, it feels like they won by 40 boards. And the foul differential, West Virginia 27, Oklahoma 20. So really managed those areas that they needed to manage pretty well. Ryan, even though Oklahoma maybe didn't have the foul trouble that West Virginia did, they still needed to go to their bench. And really a maligned group came up huge for the Sooners today.
Yeah, the bench, which we talked about so much early in the season as a difference between this team and last year's team, had really struggled since Big 12 play began. Weren't getting a lot of minutes, certainly weren't getting a lot of quality minutes. They did that today. You mentioned Kadeem Latin got in foul trouble early. Dante Buford came off the bench and was just fantastic for them, was a really big key to helping them break West Virginia's pressure for large stretches of the first half, excuse me. He got to the rim pretty regularly early, got to the foul line a lot, and hit those free throws. That was a big stepping point for Dante Buford. In the second half, Buford took a little bit of a step back because Kadeem Latin was able to stay out of more foul trouble, but Christian James came in relief of Isaiah Cousins. Although Cousins wasn't in really bad foul trouble, they still needed some quality minutes out of Christian James, and he was fantastic. Not a lot of offense out of him, but he was able to come up with some big plays on the defensive end and also create things for them offensively. They need to get those 2 guys going to have much chance of hanging with the top of this league, because Buddy Hield, Jordan Woodard, Isaiah Cousins, those guys have racked up a lot of minutes to this point, and they need to get those guys a break every once in a while at least.
By the way, the break does not come this week as they head to Iowa State on Monday. Ryan, just give us a quick preview of this matchup. We've already seen these 2 teams get together once this year already here in Norman. Very quick to have both of these games so early in the conference season. But what do you expect Monday night in Ames?
A completely different game than what we saw today, because West Virginia likes to muck it up a lot. They play that press that makes things difficult for you. Iowa State likes to do things much more free-flowing. They're a lot like OU. They get up and down the court. But the number one thing I'm looking for Monday night is the final, at least regular season matchup between Buddy Hield and George Niang. These two players have been fantastic. Two guys that weren't, the 5-star recruits coming out of high school, but might be the best players, two players in the Big 12 this year. They've become really close friends, and it's always fun when those two go head-to-head because both of them can score from just about everywhere on the floor.
It seemed like all the way through the little run of the 5-7 points where we got the lead, they got the lead. It seemed like we were a little bit uphill much of the night, but had a little bit of margin late there that we didn't quite hang on to. But guys kept battling. I thought they had some great stops, critical stages of the second half, and obviously West Virginia's the best at rebounding basketball. I thought our guys battled really hard there, and you have to have a chance to handle the ball decently in the full court against that pressure because, again, West Virginia's the best at that. So proud for the guys, just really proud for the guys. Jordan made a good, strong move there late, and of course Kadeem with the tap. Really happy for Kadeem with all he's done here lately and the progress he's making to have a feeling like that we all could share with him. So proud for the guys.
Lloyd, was that the final play? Was that what you wanted? I mean, did you get out of that what you wanted?
Yeah, I wanted Jordan downhill because they were going to help on Jordan, and he had Buddy, sitting right there as well. Jordan made a good, strong move, and their big helped a little bit, which allowed Kadeem some freedom to the offensive board.
Buddy, the game was pretty physical. Do you have to adapt the way the officials are calling the game?
Yes, sir. You just gotta try to find ways that you can get around the defenders. West Virginia do a good job face guarding me and for some of our plays. So you just gotta be physical with them, like them, how they are physical, and just be tough every possession.
Kadeem, can you take us through those last sequence and what you were doing there?
I'll take you through it. Let's see. Jordan kind of just attacked his man. Both my man and I think Spain's man both went to go help, and I just kind of tipped it in. It was nice, I guess. That's it.
What does it mean to you, given what happened against Kansas, to come back and have a moment like this?
I'd say it was kind of like a redemption attempt or game for me. Getting to tip it in was great, but like I said, the whole team did we all contributed to that win, and it was just my time at that moment to tip it in, I guess.
A 5-game stretch for the Sooners that they finished 4-1. Unbelievable if they can push that to 5-1 with the win at Ames. Just some great basketball. We expect them to be #1 in the rankings Monday before that game, then we'll see how Monday night goes. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.